June 16th, 1997, you turn heel on Undertaker and join the Nation. You join Farooq, D'Lo, Godfather. This was a shocking turn. I don't think people really saw this one coming. How did you feel
No,
about you turning heel and joining the Nation?
well, I was happy with the position I had. I didn't think I needed to join the nation. You know what I'm saying? Um, but I did, and while I was with the nation, we've had a few matches, and then one match we had, Vince called us to his office, and I was like, "Oh, what do we do now?" And he said, "Y'all have a seat." So we sat down. He said, "I want you to see this," and he played the tape of us walking down the ramp, and you got D'Lo, which wasn't a big threat. You got me, Farooq, and Kama. And Vince calls to the office and he's like, who am I going to get to believe that y'all can be beat? Who's going to believe that y'all can be beat? He said, nobody. He said, so I'm going to have to do this. He said, Ahmed, I'm going to have to take you back out the nation. And I was like, wait a minute. I just turned all the fans against me. Now you're going to want me to turn back to Babyface? But that's what he said, man. That's what he wanted. So that's what we did.
I mean, because also you joined the Nation, and within a couple of weeks you get injured. But you're meant to be facing Undertaker on the Canadian Stampede pay-per-view in a title match, which is a big match for you. What happened with the injury? How did it come about? And yeah, talk us through that.
I was wrestling against DOA, and it was a freak accident. I went to go get chains, and I run over to him, and I stepped wrong, and all of a sudden, my joint in my knee popped out. So I was wrestling the whole match with a dislocated knee, and it tore the ligaments, and it tore the ACL and the meniscus. It tore them muscles. So it was pretty bad, man.
And I mean, you were only out for like 6, 8 weeks or something. You came back
Uh-huh.
pretty quick from that. Was part of the reason that you came back so quick because you wanted to try and keep the spot of where you were?
Yes, be honest with you, yes. You hit that right on the head.
And do you think did that injury and coming back so quick, do you think that was hurtful to your career by coming back too soon, or do you think it was fine?
Now that you mentioned it, I think it hurt me coming back so soon. 'Cause I wasn't able to do the stuff that the audience and the fans were used to seeing me do. I couldn't do it because I was in a wrestling with a tore up knee. So I couldn't dive over the ropes to do any of the stuff. So yeah, I think it hurt me more than anything.
And when you joined the Nation, it was like Farouk had been the leader of the Nation. That was like the clear guy. He's the leader of the Nation. Then Ahmed Johnson comes in, and it's kind of like you can't really imagine Farouk leading Ahmed Johnson around or Ahmed Johnson leading Farouk around. So,
Exactly.
so were you guys like jockeying for position on who's gonna lead the group?
No, I was fine with taking the back seat. I was fine with taking a back seat to Farouk. I mean, he's been there. He was the leader, and I was fine just coming under his command. But one thing I did want to do, and I did ask Vince about, and he said no because once again it's too powerful. I asked him, could me and Ron team up as a tag team?
Right.
And he was like, no, nobody's going to be able to believe again that y'all can be beat.
And had you and Ron kind of made up from all the heat from before? Were you guys good at this
Yes,
point?
yes. We had got together and we had made up for it and we had talked. And I don't know if you've seen on Facebook that picture that me and him took where we're shaking hands and said, yeah, we squashed all the beef, man.
And when you came back in August of 1998 from the injury, within 2 weeks you turned back babyface again. Who made that call, and what did you think? I mean, I know you mentioned earlier Vince was involved, but what is your mindset when Vince is saying, "I want to turn you back"?
I was very disappointed. I was like, that's very because we're not working up an angle to it or anything. It's just, it's too powerful. So he wanted me out. And that's when I told him, can me and Ron team up? Because I was giving him a hell of a match. I was like, Vince, just think about it. Ahmed and Ron Simmons versus Animal and Hawk. I said, that would have been a pay-per-view people would have paid to see. But he's like, yeah, but it's right now, Ahmed, until I can get more talent in, it's just too powerful. I'm like, cool, okay. I mean, he's evolved.
It also felt, as from an outsider's perspective, it felt like by turning Ahmed Johnson heel and putting him in the Nation, this group that he'd fought against the whole time, that then when the Nation then kicked him out, which is the story, that it was hard for your character to kind of get going again as a babyface because
Yes,
is that fair to say?
yes, very fair to say. It was very hard to re-energize the audience and to believe in that I was babyface. Because when I turned, they didn't trust me no more. I turned on them, I broke their heart. They didn't trust me no more. But the audience has to know that wasn't me. That was Vince.
Yeah. I do need to ask you about the infamous backstage altercation with you and D'Lo. I need to ask your side of that. What because we've heard D'Lo's side is out there, but what's your side of this?
Let me tell you something. If Dio had beat me up, don't you think the dirt sheets, everybody would have heard about it? But you tell me 30 years later, you come out with this fantasy that you beat me up. 30 years later now. And then you got the nation behind you, backing you up. You got Martin Henry, Kama, they're backing you up. Man, if D'Lo would have beat me up, I would have been, don't think I'd have been bruised up or y'all would have heard about it 30 years ago.
Is there a reason? I mean, with you and D'Lo, is there a reason that there seems to be a bit of bad blood? Did you get a sense of that when you were around each other back in the day?
Yeah, I told you, I got a sense that all of them were jealous of me. Let me be honest with you. All the black guys were very jealous of me because they wanted that chance to be the first African American in history to win the belt. But Vince gave it to me. And the African American guys were very jealous of me, man. The only person in the nation that I could say was not jealous of me was Savio Vega. And Savio Vega tried to help me, through the matches. He knew I was green, and he stepped up and tried to give me a hand. And I appreciate that.
I did want to ask you when you got kicked out of the Nation. The new member was Rocky Maivia at that point. You got to work with him quite a lot. Kind of September, October, November 1998. Obviously, this is kind of before he's become The Rock. But you were having some matches with him when he was kind of starting to try and build being a heel. What are your memories of working with him when he was trying to kind of get this character together of becoming The Rock?
Well, before he came to Rock, man, he was cool, man. He was good people before he came to Rock. And then once he became the Rock, oh my God, man. You couldn't tell him he don't stink. I mean, he was conceited on cloud nine. He was terrible, man, when he became the Rock.
So I mean, but when you were working with him right after you left the Nation, and he turned heel, but he was still kind of Rocky Maivia, and he was almost becoming the Rock. Did he still seem grounded at that point, or was it kind of straight away when he turned heel that he changed?
Well, it took it was a little while, but once they, started adding him into play with being the leader of the nation over Farooq, his head just swelled up, man. You couldn't tell him nothing.